All right, welcome back. My name is Chris Sachinelli, and I get to build, buy, and sell simple, profitable businesses every single day. And today we're talking about hopefully what is the simple, profitable launch of our Simple Profits newsletter. Pull back curtain a little bit, right? So, roughly almost a year ago to this date, we did a video, a very similar video, and it was discussing an acquisition strategy for newsletters, right? So, first and foremost, if you're not familiar, we build, buy, and sell simple, profitable businesses every single day. We do it as a micro private equity firm through Bootstrapper Capital. And then we run an agency model through Simple Profits, where we quite literally do for others what we do for ourselves in terms of building wedge equity and getting companies to simple, profitable outcomes. So we did this strategy, right? We came up with this strategy about a year ago. And the concept was, hey, could we go out there and buy newsletters, right? We found that there was a ton on like sites like Substack, etc., that at some point in time were pretty active newsletters. They built up subscriber base of, a few thousand subscribers, but for whatever reason, there wasn't a ton going on. And we were kind of curious, like, was there an arbitrage opportunity? Meaning, like, could we buy something for less than what it's actually intrinsically worth? And we thought yes, right? So our thesis was, let's go out there, find some newsletters. Let's figure out our customer acquisition costs and what it otherwise costs us when we do paid advertising to build the subscriber count, and see if we can actually buy newsletters for a cheaper price. And if we can, then can we integrate them and actually, leverage that subscriber base to be able to build ours? So we did, and we actually went to market. So over the past year, right? So everything takes time, right? And if it's your first time, it's probably going to take at least 5, maybe 10, right? So we went to the market. We put in a lot of different offers on a number of different newsletters. We ended up, first off, we didn't close on all of them. We found out this was a pretty funky space to work within. There's not a lot of structure, and it's not super mature from our experience as an industry, but that may be changing. Who knows? So we put a lot of offers out there. Not a lot of them came back. Quite frankly, couldn't even get in contact with quite a few of the actual newsletter authors. They were just dead ghost, zombie newsletters in a sense. But we did get a couple of folks to respond back. And in our process, and I'll do another video that actually shows our entire process as we work through this. I mean, it took quite a bit of time, and we didn't actually intentionally record everything while we were doing it because it was so sporadic over such a long period of time. But we do have some, and we have all the data, so we could definitely go into the deep details there. However, long story short, we ended up closing on a few, right? And where we are right now is we have a couple of several newsletters that we acquired. And in total, there's like 20 or so thousand subscribers across all of these newsletter lists. And we haven't really done anything with them. So we've bought them and we've owned them for a while now. And we haven't really done too much with it. We've known that this is something that we've wanted to do specifically around launching our own newsletter and growing it, right? So we have this concept of, our big scope is getting to 100,000 subscribers inside of a year, but everything, it's easier if you bite it down in small chunks. So right now we're in this 10K subscriber challenge, and we want to do it in 30 days or less. So that's what the scope of this video is. I want to talk through the strategy of how we plan to intend to use the newsletters that we already acquired, what the thought process is around that, and then also what else we're going to do to hopefully put the icing on the cake to actually crush this goal, this challenge, right? So first and foremost, a little bit of a backstory. We've tested out a number of platforms. We've run newsletters over the years, a ton of different newsletters over the years, and we've used probably every platform that's out there. One of the ones that we have yet to use is Beehive. We've heard amazing things about it from the ecosystem. There's a lot of features, functionalities that are pretty standard across the board. But the cool thing about them seems to be that they're integrating an advertising network inside of their ecosystem. That was pretty cool. We haven't seen too many people do that. So it helps you as a creator monetize. That's something of interest, and that's the potential goal line. So fast forward videotape down here in this top right, box right here where it says approximate annual revenue, 34,125. They have a cool calculator on their site. So if you go to beehive.com, BEEHIIV.com. You can actually find the calculator by going to the monetization tools. I just went through the process of, if we run a newsletter, we're running it 5 days a week, which is what we plan to do, and we have a 10,000 subscriber count. It's a niche community, which we are. What's the approximate annual revenue that they'll be able to generate with their ad network? And it comes in almost $35,000. Right? Pretty interesting, pretty cool. And at the end of this video, we're actually going to do an ROI comparison. We're going to determine whether or not this was a good decision, if we're making good decisions, and fundamentally and foundationally why. So we could follow our why and then decide whether or not this is a strategy to double down on. But that's just fast forward videotape a little. So where we are today, right? We adopted this platform called Beehive. We're testing it out. We're literally standing it up, right? So you're going through the process with us. Everything is being done, built in public style, as always, right? We're launching it for the Simple Profits newsletter. We're also, relaunching the Simple Profits podcast. We're rebranding the website. We're relaunching the YouTube channel. We're doing a lot of stuff all at the same time to be able to drive us towards our core goal with Simple Profits as an advisory agency firm of $1 million inside of a year, right? So that's our big overarching build in public goal for what we're doing. And this is one of the components as to how we're getting it done. Our newsletter, right? So right now we're in this 10K subscriber challenge. We want to do it in 30 days or less. We want to actually discuss our strategy and then execute the strategy in public. We're going to share all the insights inside of our community over at Bootstrapper Capital. And, hopefully folks can follow along, maybe replicate what we're doing or learning from the experience. We'll also share it, most of it on YouTube as well. So we have our existing subs, right? We do have a number of little micro kind of newsletters around Simple Profits that we've been building, and cumulatively, it's roughly at 5,000 or so. I don't know if it's a little bit under or a little bit over, but it's right around that number, right? Our first challenge is we're going to have to figure out how to upload these existing subscribers and then actually import them in and then run a notification so that there's like a re-opt-in or a double opt-in or whatever the case is, whatever the requirements are from Beehive. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. We're assuming that in doing it, we're going to get probably 50 to 80% of these people to just reconvert, because these are folks that already follow us. These are folks like yourself, folks that digest the content or have been a part of the journey in some way, shape, or form, kind of know what we're doing, or somebody who's opted into one of the lead magnets that we've put out, whether it's blueprints from the past or some of the free things from our boot camps that we've been doing as of recent. The meat and the potatoes of the strategies around the new acquisition, right? So we went through and we did acquisitions of existing newsletters. It took us quite a bit of time to actually execute the strategy, but we found a number of newsletters that were pretty focused in on our niche, right? So we got to read some of the content, historic content, make sure that it was on point, on topic, on target. And then the assumption, huge assumption here, major assumption, is that because the content was so on topic, the brand was fairly on topic, we're assuming that the subscriber base is also fairly on topic for us, and that there would be good overlap. And because there's good overlap, we can run an integration strategy to actually bring that subscriber and integrate that subscriber into our newsletter. For those that are familiar, we do integrations all the time when we acquire companies, right? So when we buy like a new SaaS company, for example, we'll run an integration, so that we're integrating it into our business system, and we're assuming the customer base, and right, we're making sure that there's no loose ends where we lose the value of the acquisition or the asset. So we're going to be doing the same thing here with the newsletters. This is the first time that we're doing this, right? So in the first video that we put out, it was very much so, authentic of, hey, we don't really know what we're doing. We think this is a good idea. We have a hypothesis. We're willing to put our dollars, where our minds are, and test it out. And in the process of testing it, we'll share our results in public, and you can find out if it's a good strategy. We'll let our dollars go to work to figure that out for us all, as long as we could mitigate risk. And I think we're doing that. So it feels pretty good so far. So the integration strategy that we're going to likely run, we are going to ask Beehive in terms of best practices. We actually have a couple of emails already going with them, and we just want to make sure that we're doing everything the right way for the right reasons to get to the right outcomes, as always. And this is new to us. So you got to, ask subject matter experts in terms of how, in terms of the why, in terms of the when, in terms of what to get to the approach that you want. But right now, the understanding is we're going to take these newsletters, we're going to either use the existing platforms or we're going to integrate it into the new platform, but we want to run a opt-in series. So the how, in terms of where the sun's coming from, that's to be determined. Not sure exactly. I think it's probably going to be the existing newsletter platforms from what we acquired it with. But we'll likely run, well, not likely, we are going to run an acquisition integration outbound campaign. Just don't know where it's going to be coming from. Hopefully, if it's cool, if we can figure out how to do it from Beehive, that would be awesome for simplicity's sake. But if not, that's cool too. We'll just run it from Substack, etc. MailChimp, a couple of them different platforms. But we're going to first send an email notification to the existing list saying, hey, we acquired this list. This is why. We'll probably share the video from a year ago in terms of a thought process. We may even share this video, who knows? But like, this is what's going on. Like, hey team, this is what's going on, just so that you know. And then if you want to be a part of it, here's a way that you can opt into the new newsletter. And the cool thing about Beehive, and we haven't tested this out, right? We've never used the Beehive platform, but I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube, reading articles and chatting with the team. The team seems really cool. So first and foremost, that's pretty important. And that seems to be the case. So feel pretty good about that. But there appears to be this thing that they have, like a magic link where you could just click and it's kind of like an opt-in, right? So it's like a really simple path of least resistance for the opt-in. They also have like integrated referral programs, like where you could set up referral networks similar to like Morning Brew and other newsletters that have gone viral. And you can also integrate with other platforms. Like we actually had a platform call, an integration platform call with like a swag platform. The brand is escaping me. Otherwise, I'd give them the shout out because they were super cool. They were bootstrappers. We will promote them, in the future for sure, especially as this is successful and we integrate and we test it out and we know it works. But our plan and intention is to incentivize the adoption of the existing user base into this new newsletter, into our new newsletter. And that's the integration process. So we're going to run a series of emails notifying like, hey, what's going on, right? Leading with the why. And then we're going to incentivize with value to take action. And we're going to hope that the value we're exchanging is far more than the perceived cost, which is like opt into this experience. And because of that, I'm hoping that we're going to get somewhere realistically between 25 to 50%. And if we can get 50%, that's killer, right? This could be like a real game-changing strategy, and we'll definitely continue to leverage it to get to 100K, and we'll likely manufacture 100K like inside of probably 90 days because we'll just go on a buying spree and just buy a whole bunch of newsletters. But even if we get down to that 25%, right, the way that we design this is if you take the lower estimate, the more conservative estimate of any of these, it still gets us to our 10K. So we're designing it. We want to get 10K for sure, worst case scenario, and we want to crush 10K, best case scenario. Who knows? Maybe we end up with like 20, 30,000 subscribers after the end of 30 days. 30K in 30 days would be pretty cool. But that's the strategy. That's a pure integration strategy for the acquisitions. And then the final thing that we're going to do, because it's also like an integrated part of Beehive, and we thought it was pretty cool and they already offer it. It's kind of out of the box. So why not, right? Why not do more, hit the more button type of thing? If you can, you might as well. They have like a partner network where you can find other newsletters, other folks that are creating content, similar size, similar scope to yourself. And because of that, you can do what works really well, right? So like this is how we've built and scaled newsletters in the past. You just simply do like a referral swap. So it's like, hey, I'll promote yours if you promote mine type of thing. And you target newsletters with audiences that are very similar in terms of persona and then also similar in terms of size. So it's like a fair swap, right? Like you can't go to somebody with like, well, you can. Who's to say you can't? So you definitely can. But it works best when you go to somebody like with a similar size audience. So it's a fair, it's a fair value exchange as opposed to going somebody with like 100,000 subscribers when you have like 1,000, right? So just use better judgment there. But we're going to target probably like, I don't know, aggregately speaking, we'll probably work this strategy. We'll try to get to that first 2,500 from what we already own. And then I'll probably put together a list of like 4 to 5 other newsletters around 2,500 to get to probably another 10,000 or so subscribers. And this is just going to be like the kicker. It's just going to be like a kicker. We'll probably integrate something where it would be like some sort of gimme, like where we'll give something for free to their subscriber base to further incentivize, not just like, hey, promote us, but like give something of value to their audience. And we'll probably also create some sort of way that they could also make money as a referral or affiliate partner. Maybe we'll do like our initial diligence or like our transformation plan or something like that. Or maybe even the full Simple Profits workshop where we'll double the valuation of your business. Maybe we'll discount that, right? So that's like a 30K, advisory program. Maybe we'll discount everything and make it like a too good to say no type of thing. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But we'll likely test some of that messaging in terms of incentives on these acquisition campaigns because we're going to have like a number of shots at running A/B tests to see which message kind of resonates the best. And then whatever works here that really drives the opt-ins, we'll just leverage that as probably the primary promotion down here and just do like a promotion swap. So like I said earlier, if you take the conservative numbers, that gets you to 10K. And if you take the aggressive numbers, the high-end numbers, it definitely crushes the goal, which is awesome. In terms of like scope of budget, right? So like what did we invest going into this and what has it looked like to date? I mean, it's taken a long time. It's taken about a year or so. So, you could spread this out over a year. But, if this works, we'll definitely do it again. And I'll get very, very, very specific with it, like how we do with other deals that we do. Well, we'll break everything out and we'll get pretty scientific with it from a financial perspective, financial engineering perspective, but high level. So Beehive for pricing is like 49 to 99. I think we're going to start with the 49, but then I think the referral and stuff needs 99. So we'll just upgrade. They also have a free plan up to like 2,500 subscribers. So high side, $1,000, $1,200 for the first year. I usually budget for a year out. If you're going to do it, commit. Don't budget for a month or whatever. Even if you think this is going to take 30 days, budget for everything, big picture, right? Plan for success. And then in terms of acquisitions, we've spent like a little bit over 5,000, like a little bit under 6,000 so far on just like buying the newsletter that we have. Some of them were like really expensive when we first went to market, like really expensive. And we were just like, what's going on here? And we've never done this before. So there wasn't like a great way for me to qualify the deals or the acquisitions or the risk. Like everything we do is all about risk mitigation. You got to take risk off the table, right? Maximize the downside in order to optimize the upside. I couldn't really do that. So this was more just like a lot of conversations. This was actually probably, I mean, it was fun, right? So I definitely had a good time doing it, but I'd say velocity and volume is like a multitude more than what we do when we do SaaS deals. So there's that. I mean, we'll probably get better at it and all these things. Like once we have more data, I just flying blind. You know what I mean? It's the first time you're doing it. So everything starts somewhere. This has happened to be where we're starting. So all in about like 6 to 7K realistically. I think that I probably already put like 6K out and we're going to spend 7K in total. And then again, in terms of that potential return on investment based off of Beehive's integrated system, they're saying like 35K, 34, 125, we'll round up, right? We'll round up to 35. But like you can also do other integrated types of sponsorships, plus the intrinsic, realistically, this isn't like a brand that we're going to monetize necessarily. I'm just showing you, this is more for efficacy of what it could be. For our use case, it's going to really be more for audience building and to be able to drive more adoption and top of funnel interest into Simple Profits as an advisory business, right? So we're on $1 million challenge right now. We want to build $1 million side hustle. Again, 100% in public. What we do for ourselves, this is what we do. This is what we do for ourselves. And then by doing so for ourselves, we share with you. And then ultimately, if you want a little bit of help doing it yourself, we can do it for you too, right? So do it for yourself before you do it for others type of thing. So this is where we're at right now. This is the strategy. I wanted to record this video so that everybody kind of has that line of sight continuity. Again, it's an update from pretty much a year ago or so. We're going to actually pull the trigger on this now. I was hoping that we were going to pull the trigger sooner, but life is a real thing. This is now when we're doing it, and we're doing it for all the right reasons. Once we do execute on this, and as we're executing realistically, so as anything material comes up, like as we're going through and we're learning and we're pulling things out and we got more information, more data, right, and we're executing on this, we'll give updates. So maybe it takes another year, but I hope not. I think probably within the next 30 to 90 days, probably have a story, whether it's a good one or a bad one. It's going to be a story that we can all learn from. We can all, we'll share and we can all evolve and grow together. And then if this does work, right, I'm assuming, my assumption right now, hypothesis into the premise is it's going to work. I think we're going to get somewhere close to what we're looking at. So if we don't, we'll probably fill gap with like other strategies. So we'll test out some other subscriber acquisition strategies to get to that 10K and kind of like top it off. But I'm thinking this is probably going to get us pretty close. It may crush it, and we just may be crushing it with this. And if that's the case, I'm going to go pretty full throttle on it in terms of a strategy and just hit the more button. Because here's the thing, the little, wait till the end type of tidbit or pull back curtain and share, strategic share. For those that were patient and watched this whole video, I have a theory right now that you can run these acquisitions and you can acquire this newsletter. So let's just say that we acquired this newsletter. We'll round the numbers to $5,000, right? And that $5,000 gets us, 10,000 subscribers or whatever, or 5,000 subscribers for simplicity's sake. I believe that if you run it like that and you pick up the brand and then you run this acquisition strategy, this integration strategy from like the Substack or from the core brand, and you convert over the existing subscribers and you reignite this brand, I think that you could pick up the subscriber base, continue the brand, right? Continue to build the newsletter under its own brand, operate it, right, as an operating entity, and then sell it again. And I think you could sell it and either recoup your money, recoup your 5K, or potentially even make a little bit of money. And I think that if you can do that, so that's like really what I want to test at the end of the day. If you do that, then that's going to be a perpetual flywheel. Like you could always just, then you're going to take that capital, acquire another one, do the same thing, sell it, right? Acquisition, disposition, acquisition, disposition, acquisition, disposition, with the integration in the middle. And I think that there's something maybe to test here. I think there's maybe something to this concept or to this model. I don't know. I haven't really heard of anybody that does it. I've known a lot of people that have built really big newsletters and run phenomenal businesses around them. So I'm assuming that's probably something that they do. They maybe just don't share it publicly on YouTube or in communities and things of that nature. We'll test it out and we'll see if it works. Thank you for sticking with us. And please like and subscribe to the video. We're trying to build up the channel. Obviously, we're trying to build up the subscriber base to the newsletter. So jump onto the newsletter. We'll link in the description so you can subscribe, follow the journey. We'll share everything in public and we'll keep you updated as things progress. All right. Have a good one.